For more than 200 years, architects have quietly used one home design that solves problems most barndominium owners don't even realize they have. Yet in 2026, almost nobody is talking about it. It's not the U-shaped layout flooding Pinterest. It's not the basic rectangle every kit company recommends. It's the H-shaped barndominium. At first glance, it looks simple, but once you understand how it improves privacy, natural light, airflow, and everyday living, you'll start wondering why more people aren't building this way. Today, we're uncovering the hidden advantages of the H-shaped barndominium and whether it could be the smartest layout you can build. Before we dive in, welcome to Barndo Dreams, where we uncover the real costs, smarter designs, and hidden truths behind today's most impressive barndominiums. If you enjoy honest, no-hype build breakdowns, subscribe, like this video, and turn on notifications. Now, let's find out why the H-shaped barndominium is quietly becoming one of the smartest designs of 2026. An H-shaped barndominium is exactly what it sounds like on paper, but a lot more clever in practice. You take two parallel wings, think of them as the two vertical lines of the letter H, and you connect them with a central section, the crossbar. That center section usually holds the great room, the kitchen, or the main entry. The wings branch off to either side, and the space left over on both ends of the H becomes two separate outdoor courtyards. That's the whole shape. Two wings, one connector, two courtyards. But that simple geometry is doing more structural and lifestyle work than almost any other Barndo layout on the market right now. Here's the first hidden advantage, and it's the one most buyers never think about until they're already living in a dark, boxy shell home, wondering why every room needs a lamp on at 2 p.m. A simple rectangle Barndo has two long walls and two short walls. Rooms in the middle of that rectangle are landlocked. No exterior wall, no window, no natural light. An H-shape doesn't have that problem, because the wings are separated by courtyards on both ends. Nearly every room in the house can have exterior exposure on at least two sides. Architects call this multi-directional daylighting, and in practice it means your bedrooms, your home office, your bathrooms, all of it gets real daylight from more than one angle instead of relying on a single window punched into a long wall. The courtyards aren't just for looks either. They function as light wells, and more importantly, they set up cross ventilation, place windows and vents on opposite sides of each wing, and air moves through the house driven by pressure differences and the stack effect. Warm air rising and pulling cooler air in behind it. In hot climates, that's not a small thing. That's the difference between running your HVAC system non-stop in July and getting real airflow through the house during shoulder seasons without touching the thermostat. Second hidden advantage, and this one matters more every year, as multi-generational households become the norm instead of the exception. The H-shape naturally divides a home into public, semi-private, and private zones without you having to force it with hallways and doors. Picture it. One wing holds a primary suite and private living space. The other wing holds guest quarters, a second suite for aging parents, or a rental unit. The center crossbar, the great room, kitchen, dining, becomes the shared, communal zone that connects both wings without either one bleeding into the other's privacy. This is the same principle courtyard home builders have leaned on for multi-generational living for decades. Give each generation their own wing with direct access to a shared outdoor space, so everyone has independence and everyone still shares a home. For a barndominium specifically, that means you can build one structure that functions like two households under one roof, which is a real answer to the in-law suite and adult-child moving home conversations a lot of families are having right now. It's worth being honest about the flip side too. That same zoning only works if you actually plan the wings around real people's needs from day one. Bolt an H-shape onto a floor plan for a young couple with no immediate multi-generational need, and you've just built two wings worth of framing and roofline for privacy separation nobody's using yet. The advantage is real, but it's an advantage for a specific kind of household, not a universal upgrade. The third advantage is less about comfort and more about how you actually use the square footage day to day. Because the H creates distinct wings connected by a shared center, you can dedicate an entire wing to something other than bedrooms. A home office wing that's acoustically and physically separated from the living wing. A workshop or studio wing with its own exterior entrance, so business traffic never has to walk through your living room. A wing that's essentially self-contained enough to function as a short-term rental without guests ever seeing your private space. This is the layout flexibility Barndominiums are famous for. No load-bearing interior walls, wide clear spans thanks to steel or post-frame construction. But the H-shape organizes that flexibility into zones instead of leaving you with one giant open box you have to subdivide yourself. There's a fourth advantage that rarely gets mentioned, and it has nothing to do with light or privacy. It's about how the shape handles weather. Because the two wings project outward and flank the central section, they act as natural windbreaks for the courtyards tucked between them. That courtyard space stays noticeably calmer in high wind than an open yard would, which matters a lot if you're building in a region that deals with strong prevailing winds or seasonal storms. The wings also throw shade onto each other and onto the courtyards at different points in the day, depending on orientation, which can meaningfully cut down on how much direct sun hits your glass and exterior walls during peak summer heat. It's a passive strategy, no equipment, no added cost once the orientation is right, that traditional rectangular barndos simply can't replicate because they don't have a second mass of building to work with in the first place. Now here's where most Barndominium videos stop, because this is the part that doesn't sell dreams, it sells reality. And reality is what this channel is actually for. The single biggest misconception about H-shaped barndos is that because Barndominiums are cheaper than traditional homes, an H-shape will be cheap too. It won't be, at least not compared to a simple rectangle. Every corner you add to a floor plan increases framing complexity, and the H-shape has a lot of corners, typically 6 to 8 exterior corners compared to 4 on a basic rectangle. Roofline complexity follows the same math. A single, straight gable roof is the cheapest roof you can build. The moment you introduce multiple wings meeting in a central section, you're dealing with valleys, transitions, and intersecting roof lines that take more skilled labor and more material cuts. Builders in 2026 are telling clients to budget real money for roofline changes alone, and design complexity in general can add anywhere from $15 to $50 per square foot on top of a basic shell, depending on how intricate the plan gets. Put that in perspective. A straightforward finished Barndominium in 2026 is commonly landing somewhere around $140 to $200 per finished square foot. An H-shape's added corners, valleys, and courtyard hardscaping can push you toward the upper end of that range, or past it, even before you touch high-end interior finishes. That's not a reason to avoid an H-shape. It's a reason to go in with your eyes open instead of comparing a quoted Barndominium price per square foot for a rectangle against the H-shape you actually want. Second mistake, buyers fall in love with an H-shaped floor plan online without checking whether their lot can actually support it. An H-shape needs width. You're not building one continuous footprint. You're building two wings with meaningful separation between them, which means the lot has to accommodate that spread, plus setbacks on every side, plus room for the courtyards to actually function as usable outdoor space instead of narrow gaps that trap shade. Orientation matters just as much. The entire light and ventilation advantage we talked about earlier depends on how the H is rotated relative to the sun path and prevailing wind. Get the orientation wrong, and one wing bakes in afternoon sun while the other stays perpetually shaded, where your courtyards end up as wind tunnels instead of comfortable outdoor rooms. This is exactly the kind of decision that needs to happen before you fall in love with the stock plan, not after the foundation's poured. Third mistake, and it's a practical one, mechanical systems. When you split a home into two wings connected by center section, you're often looking at longer duct runs and temperature differences between wings that a single HVAC zone struggles to manage evenly. Homeowners who treat an H-shape like a simple rectangle when it comes to heating and cooling design often end up with one wing that's always slightly too warm or too cold. Budgeting for a properly zoned HVAC system, or even separate systems per wing, isn't optional if you want the shape's comfort advantages to actually show up in daily life instead of just on paper. So if you're seriously considering an H-shape for your build, here's what actually needs to happen during planning, not after. Get a site evaluation that accounts for sun path and wind direction before you finalize wing orientation. Price the roofline separately from the base kit cost, because that's where most H-shape budgets get blown. Talk to your HVAC contractor early about zoning. not as an afterthought once walls are already framed. And check local setback and lot coverage requirements, specifically for a footprint with this much width and depth. Rural zoning is usually forgiving, but it's not universal, and courtyards can sometimes count differently than you'd expect, depending on your jurisdiction. Build in a contingency fund on top of your base estimate. Most experienced builders recommend padding any custom-shaped barndominium budget rather than assuming the first quote is the final number, since roofline and courtyard details tend to surface mid-build, not before it. And don't forget the courtyards themselves are ongoing maintenance, not a one-time landscaping cost. Drainage, hardscaping, and plantings in a space bordered by 2 wings need a real plan, or they turn into 2 neglected side yards instead of the usable outdoor rooms that made the shape appealing in the first place. None of this makes the H shape a bad choice. If anything, knowing these trade-offs up front is what separates the people who end up with a genuinely comfortable, well-zoned home from the people who end up frustrated by a beautiful floor plan that fought their budget and their climate the whole way through. The H shape isn't hype. It's a 200-year-old idea that happens to solve very modern problems. Multi-generational living, home offices, natural light, airflow, wrapped in a barndominium shell that's still more affordable than traditional stick-built construction, complexity, premium, and all. It's just not the shape you build without planning first. And speaking of decisions people don't plan for until it's too late. Next time on Barndominium Secrets They Don't Tell You, we're tackling a fight that's dividing Barndo owners right now. Hempcrete versus drywall. One of them is quietly becoming the material serious off-grid and health-conscious builders are switching to in 2026, and it is not the one you're picturing in your walls right now. Why some owners are ripping out drywall entirely, and what that decision is actually costing and saving them. That's next. Subscribe so you don't miss it, and I'll see you there.